Are we lit up? Are we going?
We're going.
Have we started the launch sequence, as it were?
Oh, no, baby. We're already launched.
We have launched, indeed.
Yes.
Oh, good stuff. Well,
Yes.
in that case, welcome to the Loan Officer Breakfast Club, my friends. We are brought to you by the Mortgage Marketing Animals. Probably the largest, for sure the best mortgage coaching company in the country, probably in the world. Maybe even the universe, I would say. I would go that far. But yeah, that's who we're brought to you by. So thanks for being here. Glad to have you this morning. We're going to get started here. Today's going to be a great day, man. It's going to be an interesting conversation. You can always expect interesting conversations at the Loan Officer Breakfast Club. That's for sure, man. Always good stuff. Let's see. I'm just kind of looking around here, seeing who we got in here already. A bunch of good peeps, man. What do you think? What a handsome group of people. Don't you agree?
Great group.
Don't
Yes.
you think, guys? What a nice looking group of people.
Got John and Todd, Chauncey, Dawn. Man, everybody showed up. Jim, Yarrington.
Everybody's here.
Yeah.
So I got to tell you though, it's so we know that it's June 30th. So basically half the year's gone. So this is kind of a milestone.
Yep.
Right? A bit of a milestone for everybody. It's also a big milestone for Kristen Simpson, because she starts decorating for Christmas tomorrow. Is basically what's going on.
Not quite. But I do have my Pinterest board ready. I'm ready to go.
Okay. All right.
As a member of the Claus family, I approve.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Todd.
I got you
That's
back, girl.
All right, Todd. Thanks, buddy. Yeah.
I haven't even had my week down the shore yet. You got to give me a little bit of time here.
All right, but I know you're thinking about it. It's back there. It's
Oh yeah, it's
percolating.
bouncing around in there for sure.
Right. All right. Well, good stuff. Maybe we should, before we dive into the meat and potatoes of the show today, maybe we should kind of poke around and talk to some people, just see what's going on. What do you think? Just as people are kind of
let's
pouring
do
in.
it. Yeah. Anybody got some wins? Anybody got something good happening?
Frank's got a win.
I do. What's my win?
You do. Your win is that it is your birthday week.
Oh, I'm gonna give
It
that.
is.
Whatever. Yeah.
Hey, Frankie, when's your birthday? What? When's
Thursday.
your Huh?
Thursday.
Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
You know what everybody wants to ask? How young are you?
How old am I? Yeah. Uh-huh. Well, you know what, Steve? I am in the prime of my life, man.
I know you are. That's funny.
I'm
You're like 35.
Inside, yes. Outside, no. I'm 63.
What?
60. Yeah, I can't believe there's a 6 in the front. You know what's funny is I have conversations with people and I tell them I'm 63. They go, "You do not sound 63." And it's like, I wonder what that means.
What does 63
sound like? Yeah. Like, what should
It sounds like Frank.
Yeah, apparently.
I don't know. That might be
Sounds good.
a knock on your maturity level, maybe. I don't know.
Of course. Indeed, Miss Simpson. Indeed. A knock on my maturity level. No, you know what it is? It's just that, when I was in the Navy,
Gosh.
we learned how to really take care of ourselves inwardly. You know what I mean? Because you have to be really mentally acute in high pressure situations, at all times. So that's probably got something to do with it. It's just I'm forever young on the inside. That's probably what it is.
That's a song.
I was going to say that. I was like, now that's going to be stuck in my head.
The song?
Yeah.
Forever young.
Well, you're welcome for that. You're absolutely welcome for that. All right, let's pick on somebody. You know who I'm seeing here? Let's see. I'm going to pick someone. There was a guy I wanted to call on. Where'd he go? Because he looked like he was just aching to be called on. He kind of slipped away on me here.
Hey, Kelly Correa, I haven't talked to you in a long time. What's up, my friend? Tell us some good news.
Good morning.
Hey, give us some good news.
Well, I had some bad news followed by some good news. I had Friday, I had one of my clients that we were supposed to close today backed out of his deal for inspections.
Whoa.
And we had everything at closing already, so that was not fun. But turned around, and this weekend, staying in touch with him, he actually found another house and is found the house came up was his grandparents' house. So he's
No
buying
way.
his grandparents' old house. Yeah, and they
Wow.
got the deal last night. So yeah, super excited to get started on that loan today.
Wow.
Well,
Hey,
that's a cool
this.
thing.
You know what? And Kelly, first of all, cool. And how weird that almost feels like that was kind of meant to be in a
I
weird
know,
way.
right?
And but I tell you, man, this just goes to show, Steve and team, this just really goes to show this is why we always want to get more, because you can't count on anything. Think about that. At the last day, not due to anything wrong that Kelly did or anything wrong anybody did. It's just inspections, right? Somebody got sour on the deal because of inspections. Happens. It happens, right? So yeah, you just can't count on anything. You got to just always get more. Chauncey, I saw you had your hand up. What'd you want to say, bud?
Good morning, everybody. How you doing?
What's
Good.
up, brother?
Good. I had the longest cash out refinance close on Friday. When I say long,
Nice.
it was 7 months in the making. 7
What?
months.
Was it a rate chase to the bottom or what was
No,
it?
it was not. It was a home that was left for the two kids who are now adults, right? Two sisters, and they don't like each other.
Ah.
So they were fighting over who's going to get what, how much. It went on for 7 months. Lawyers
Wow.
involved and everything else. And by the grace of God, it finally closed on Friday. It finally closed. It was the most. It wasn't a big loan. I think it was $160,000 or something like that. Very, very small, right? But I'm so happy for them that it's done. The sisters didn't talk at all. I had to talk to the lawyers and this and that. You have no idea. I feel like I should be an ordained psychologist right now.
Oh,
but
for
I
sure,
didn't
man.
do that entire process. But I'm glad it's done. I'm glad it's done. I'm like, well,
Good.
we still got a 3-day rescission period, right? So
That's what I was about to say.
Why did you bring it up, dude?
Still have to wait for Wednesday and then it could finally fund. So
Hopefully it does.
that was not fun, but I'm glad it's over. Almost over.
Good one.
Funny.
Good one, man. Yeah, that's how we are in the industry, man. You just gotta, golly, the things we do to get a deal done, people just don't realize. Jim, what do you got?
Well, I have an interesting story on a loan that closed Friday. So that you all know, for part of this, I'm here in the Heartland in Kansas City area. And about 60 miles to the east is Whiteman Air Force Base, home of the B-2 bomber. So I have an active duty person. He wasn't really very reactive. I talked to the wife. We closed with no problems. They were totally delighted. But the first words he said when he sat down to me was, "Now you know why I couldn't speak to you," because he was head of security of the B-2 bombers.
Oh, wow.
And then his realtor, who I've done his loan with and for others, I'd never met him. I've done everything by Zoom or whatever. So he showed up. And of course, I asked everyone, who do you know that I could help? And they both gave me a referral. 2 more VA deals. So
Wonderful.
that was a win-win.
That's a big
That's
win.
amazing.
And just as a side note, last week I signed up for a trip to come up to Plymouth, Michigan next couple weeks.
Wow, dude, you're winning like crazy, dude. You got a T-shirt? You got a Breakfast Club T-shirt that already?
I
gave you
do.
one?
And I wear
Okay,
it proudly.
good.
But thank
All
you.
right, yeah, you should wear that. When you get up there, just ask Kristen for a coffee cup or whatever else you want. She's going to be going up there, just dragging a bunch of LLBC
Right.
swag. Yeah, yeah. She's going to have like a suitcase.
Let Carl and Diane know.
Hey, those are great wins, man. Awesome stuff. Well, congrats to everybody, man. Fun way to start the day. Hey, Steve, I think I want to start
Let's talk.
today with the chat.
Yeah, I
Like,
love it.
let's ask people in the chat, what do you guys think? Just what's your thoughts here? Higher conversions or more leads? What do you think?
Oh yeah, hey, and you know what? Maybe
what do
maybe
you
even
think?
ask, what are you focused on? Yeah, because some of you may be focused on one or the other, but what's more important to you right now in this season? Getting more leads or converting more of what you've already got?
Yeah,
Let's see what we got.
man, it's kind of a mix.
More leads, higher
Yeah.
conversion. I like that, Sharon. Nathan, let's see here.
We got the boths.
More leads.
Yeah, of course.
Conversion. Jared Manley, conversion. Hey, that's great. Work on your conversion first, then get more leads. Convert what you already have at a higher rate. I like that, Chauncey. Monica. Yeah, it really is kind of both.
I just, here's the thing, man. I've heard you talk about this, Steve, and you're so right. we do a lot in this business to get a lead in the door. You know,
Right.
we typically do, right?
Right.
And you know, if a lead doesn't convert promptly, you
Yep.
know, I think a lot of us kind of, I know I do, I'm guilty of it, right? A lot of us kind of have the tendency to kind of, okay, let that one go and try to find the next, right?
Yeah.
But the reality is that, you know, if we get better at converting,
Right.
you know, we can really bring up. I mean, if we just increase our conversions by 25%,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like if we can increase conversions just by that amount, that could be a significant difference to us in the pipeline. And I know you've got some thoughts on this. You've done classes on this, and so I was
Yeah,
just
hey, and we
curious.
talk a lot about this in the boot camp. So we have an
Yeah.
8-week boot camp. And hey, let me give everybody some numbers real quick. So, and Frank, here's how important it is. And I think it's both and. Do we get more leads? Do we convert more of what we have? But what you hyper focus on is just based on, like, look, if you get 40 leads a month, which is probably about 8 to 10 leads a week, everybody,
Mm.
and somebody's closing, I don't know, 6 or 7 deals a month, that's not a bad business. But here's what's interesting. Somebody who's closing 6 deals a month and says, "Hey, Frank, I want to get to 10 or 12 deals a month." Most people say, "Well, go get 60 leads, go get 70 leads, like double your lead count and you'll double your
Mm.
business." But here's what's interesting. Somebody who's getting, 35, 40 leads a month, closing 6 or 7 deals a month, they're converting at about 15%. And
Mm.
Frank, if we took those same 40 leads and we increased our conversion to 20%, guess what? You'll close 8 transactions. And then what Carl and I and you and our teams, what we've really measured is we're closing about 1 in 4 relational referral. And so listen, this is those same 40 leads. If I just bump up my conversion to 25%, Frank, you're now closing 10 deals a month
Hmm.
with the same 40 leads.
Yeah.
And so here's what I would encourage everybody. How many leads, because we're ending the month of June, how many leads did you get this month? And how many of those leads turned into either a contract or a TRID disclosure, if it's a refi? And I think if you're under 25%, one of the things you like hyper focus this month on is how do I convert more? Like if I'm at 15%, how do I get to 20 or 25%? If I'm at 20, how do I get to 25? If you're at 25, you may be able to get to 30, but I got to tell you, 25 is really the number. So maybe let's keep refining it and go get more. But most people think I'm just going to double my lead count to double my business. And oftentimes, Frank, you don't have to. Just increase conversion and you'll close more of what you've already got. Hey, so I wonder what are the things that would help you convert more of what you've already got? What do we think some things are, Frank?
Yeah. Well, let's go to the chat. Let's see.
ask.
Yeah. What
so
do
let's
you
say
guys
you want to
think?
convert more. What do you do? What would help you convert more?
Yeah. Let's see
All
what
right,
you guys got
Chance.
to follow up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll go to the chat and then raise your hand if you got something. Oh, better credit scores. Okay. Well, Vicky, we can't change the credit score. Yeah, man, that would help though.
Yeah.
Chauncey's at a 38% conversion for June, brother. Okay. Talk about that, Chance. You got your hand up.
One of the biggest things you taught us in the boot camp, last year, Steve, was we have to make sure that each person stays in their lane. All right. When I say stay in their lane, is meaning that the realtors, if you have realtor partners who is trying to pre-qualify the clients for you, you have a problem. Usually what the problem is that they don't trust you fully or they've had bad experience with previous lenders and they want to hold it. I call it bear hugging. They want to hold it and they want to make sure the person qualifies and they want to get them through the table. Once you build that rapport with the realtors, you let them know, hey, don't you pre-qualify anybody, because if you say something wrong and I got to try to correct it, that can make the relationship stain between us and the client and moving forward. So make sure whenever you get you get somebody who's looking to buy a home, you send them to me immediately. I will handle all numbers. Don't try to run numbers on taxes, insurance, what they qualify, DTI. Stay out of that world. Let us play tennis together. You stay with the fun stuff with finding the right home. Let me finish up the pre-qualification and pre-approval, verify documents, and make sure you don't waste any time out there taking them on tour. So once I was able to get that across to all my realtor partners, my conversion rate went sky high. Because what happens is that, let's say they try to pre-qualify and they'll say, oh, this lender won't do it. I'm going to take you over here. We all work on the same guidelines. It's not like somebody has this great program versus somebody else. It really doesn't exist to an extent, unless a person really just doesn't know their products, right? Doesn't know their business. But besides that, make sure you're pre-approving the clients, not your realtor partner. If you can fix that, your conversion rate is going to go up very, very high, and then they're going to send you more referrals moving forward. More
I love it.
It's a good angle for sure.
That's a great angle. Yeah, I like it. So just staying in your lanes, and then I saw some things here. I'm going to keep moving. Hey, Jared, you said follow up. What do you mean by follow up? And then Daniel, I'd love for you to say, what did you mean by slow down? Let's hear a few more.
Interesting.
So I'd love to hear what you meant by that. Thanks, Chance. Great job on that.
Follow up.
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
Getting the leads and then following up on them enough times to make sure that I've either got a good one or I have, I've put the red, green, yellow. A lot of times I'll get a good lead and it gets lost in the shuffle. Even when I put it on my tracker, it's still, sometimes there's so many of them coming in. It's hard to keep them all. I got 21 this month, 4 under contract.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's pretty good. But I know that there are leads that I have either in my phone, my email, somewhere that I haven't followed up with past the first conversation.
Hey, so Jared, you're at 19% conversion, which is great. And so it's like, okay, if we could increase it up to that 25%. So you're doing great. And it's just those little tweaks. Hey, I got one thing. Let me just say this real quick. And Jen, drop in there freedomplanningcall.com, because Jared, you threw something out that we've talked about a lot. You've been through the boot camp and we've worked together. He talked about red, yellow, green. And if you want to know more about red, yellow, green, it's a way to organize your leads when they come in so that you know what to focus on, like what's the most likely to close, what's the most likely to convert. But there's a process that I created called red, yellow, green, and it helps you and your team identify the pace, the speed, what to do with the lead, and then like the ones that don't qualify, helping them get into what's called a mortgage ready consultation. Kristen and the team, if you'll book a call with us, we'll walk you through it, give it to you, and show you some of the tools we can help you with. That's at freedomplanningcall.com. Okay, I just want to throw that out there because he said red, yellow, green real quick. And I'm like, no, it's a whole process that'll help you convert your leads faster.
Yeah. And I just not to move on quickly from this, but the follow up and Jared's, being real transparent. Thank you, man. We really appreciate that. Saying that, hey, I've got a bunch of them. I hadn't got past the first call. I haven't gone to the second call or the third call. Jared, in your mind, how many touches do you think you need? What would be adequate in your opinion? If you were going to do it perfect, what would it be? What would your follow up look like?
I think you need to follow up with them consistently for at least a week.
Okay.
I'd say three touches the first couple of days, text, phone calls, emails. And then drop down to 2 maybe for the next 2, and then 1 a day for the final 3. But I keep up with leads. I mean, I've got leads that I've been working and keeping up with for over a year now. So there are some touches that you just do every once in a while. But I know I'm missing out on deals because I'm losing them after one call, and then life happens, and I'm unable to keep up as much as I'd like.
Yeah, and this is everybody's problem. Yeah, I mean, this is how it is, right? This is one of the things that we need to solve, and get better at. Really, just find a way to get better at, But yeah, the follow up for sure, Steve, I think is a big one.
I love it.
Yeah.
Hey, and it goes back to this. It's really I just keep focusing on this. It's progress is greater than perfection. And just understanding that the more you can do your follow-up as a process. So let me give you an example. A follow-up process for me is 9. So it literally is the day we get it. There's a phone call, text, voicemail, email, depending on the information we have. The next morning you follow up, the next morning you follow up. So it's creating these follow-up touch points that are a process. It's not wondering when we follow up, but knowing that every day has a follow-up with the leads that have come in this week, last week, and in the last 30 days. And so, and listen, we can show you some of that if you don't have something in place at the marketing animal. So, hey, Frank, what was another one? Did anybody talk about speed to the lead?
No, I didn't see that. That's a good one though. Let's do that.
Let's talk about that. So I think part of conversion is speed wins. So what would you guys say is important whenever you get a referral? How fast should you be touching them, or somebody on your team touching them?
Good one. How fast? What do you guys say?
Marty's got something she wants to say. Either that or
A
she's
minute,
just leaning
immediately.
in. She's like, "Ooh,
I was
me?"
just kind of leaning in because I was walking around doing stuff.
Okay, all right, all
But
right.
what was the question though? And I will try and answer it. I missed
Speed.
that.
How fast should we be following up with leads?
Well, I'm right on it.
Yeah,
They send me a lead, I'm on it. So right
yeah.
away.
I
I'm
like
first.
it.
Because if
I
you ain't
like it.
first, you're last.
I know. Well, if you're not first, it's proven that the what is it, Frank? 79% of
Yeah, I was going
mortgage
to say
customers use
78 or something. Yeah.
the very first loan officer they speak with. So that's
Right.
Hey,
And
Yeah.
I
Donna
noticed they
Slade said a
still have
minute.
agents that are still saying, they have to give out 3. So I just make sure that I'm first on the agents list too. Like, can you move me to the top spot? Because that way, normally the client is going to call that one first.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. And if you can respond quickly, you're already 78% ahead of the game.
Or making sure that your phone's answered, just a way
Yeah.
to have your phone answered. So, all
Yeah.
right, let's see here. I'm just reading immediately. As soon as you get it, drop what you're doing and call. I love that. Monica Ochoa. That's great.
Yeah. And we got Yawande with a hand up too.
What's up?
Hello, good morning. How are you?
Hey, Yawande. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you so much.
Good.
And I have no issues responding immediately. When I get a lead, I call them right away. But where it begins to fall apart is after I call them, maybe they don't respond, or they give me information that is not complete. After a while, I just leave them and I move on to people that are ready to roll. So how do you keep that conversation going when you have initially made a contact, and so that it just doesn't fall through the cracks when you have so many other things you're trying to handle?
Mm-hmm.
Great
Thank
question.
Yeah.
So, hey, Yawande, so what you're saying is you have somebody you talk to, but they're not motivated to move forward? Is that what it is? They're not completing the process?
Yes, they're not completing the process. They're not providing all their docs, or they are not. They need a little bit of a nudge, pushing to
Yeah.
get them to decide on what they want to do. And after a while, I'm like, after I call you once, twice, and I'm not seeing any movement, I move on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that happens.
And
So does anybody have any thoughts on that?
Well, I would just say that at some point you're right. Yeah, like if they're not responsive, we still have to follow up, right? And you still are, I'm sure you want it. We still follow up. Maybe we reduce the frequency. We certainly want to update our referral partner as well consistently. Okay, I'm just following up, and keep this in mind too. I've always said this is interesting. You get a lead from a referral partner. They're not as responsive as they should be. They maybe said something to you or responded briefly or what have you, but then they're kind of falling off. When I was running my other branch, Steve, we always had like 12 follow-ups.
Yeah.
But here's the win in this too, especially if it's a realtor referred deal. Even if you're following up and they're not responsive, you still get to touch the partner and ask if they've got anything else, right? And so what that does is it trains the partner. Like if you engage with the partner, even if you're leaving voicemails 12 times on every lead that they sent and just letting them, hey, still no response. I sent a text, sent an email, left a voicemail, just checking to see if you got anybody else I can help you with. You're dropping that on voicemails, man. You are really proving yourself to be quite the follow-up person. And the other thing that I wanted to bring up before we get out of here, I know it's getting close to the top of the hour, Steve, though, as far as converting more leads. This is the big one. The online application versus the phone application.
Yeah.
Right. That's where things fall through the cracks as well. Because we have a conversation, we say, hey, I'm going to send you the link, you send the link, and then it doesn't get filled out. Right. And then we're trying to follow up, see, are you going to fill it out? Are you going to fill it out? Are you going to fill it out? When maybe it's kind of what I've heard from most people is kind of the hybrid thing. It's like we're getting information while we're there as best we can, kind of starting it as we get going to get things kind of moving. Maybe they can finish it off with the link or something along those lines. But that's a conversation to have as well, I think. Yeah, what do you guys think? Online, phone, hybrid, what?
Hey, I'll tell you what my number's been and continues to be is when we have conversations, what I'm aiming for is out of all the leads, 85% complete the application. So if you get 85% of your relational leads to complete an application, I think you're doing a great job when you send them a link, because you're going to have people that either get unmotivated. They only found one house. It went under contract. They decided not to move forward. They're buying land. They got bad credit. So 85% is a number that we've seen, and that's a really good number. Like if I get a lead, 85% will complete that app. So, hey, let me just encourage people on the follow-up. Here's something, and Frank, we've talked about it. Like a process to follow up would be if I get a lead, call them 3 days in a row. Today, as soon as I get the lead, I call, leave a voicemail and text. And I love that. Every time you call, shoot a follow-up. Hey, this is Steve Kyles with Pro Lending Mortgage or Steve's Awesome Mortgage Company, whatever it is. Frank gave me your information and asked me to give you a call, said you're looking to buy a house. Would love to help you get started. Here's the link to get started. Call me whenever you've got time. Like, call them, leave a voicemail, shoot a text, do it today. And then what I love is tomorrow morning in our outbound prospecting from 9 to 11 or 9:30 to 11, first call should be leads. And then the next day, follow up again, 9 to 11, 9:30 to 11. And then here's the days I would encourage. Then put them on day 7, put them on day 14, day 30, day 45, and day 60. And I think if you'll do that every time, what happens, Frank, is whether they convert or not, you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You have 8 touch points over 60 days. And if they don't convert in 8 touch points, that's right. Just move on to the next. But you're not thinking about your follow-up. It's a process to follow up, and everybody goes through the same funnel.
There you go. Yeah. Hey, Sharon, can you unmute real quick? Are you available to unmute real fast?
Of course she is. What's up, Sharon?
Hey, Sharon. Like you close a good amount of loans. Right? Like, what'd your June look like? I mean, how you looking there? Was it okay?
It's around 3 million.
3 million. Okay. And
we
so,
had some rollover.
All right, tell me what you put in the chat. Talk to us about that, because I think that's helping your conversions. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, my conversion's about 71% right now. And that's
when
about,
you mean 71%, what do you mean by that?
Convert to an application with credit pull.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So you talk to 10 people, 7 will complete the app and review credit.
Yes.
Okay.
But when you do the app, 80, is it?
Well,
how do you do phone or what?
Well, I mean, we get about 80 to 90 leads a month, and I've always said that my goal is to get 4 a day, convert 71%, and I think someone told me one time that that was listening to me that said, if you wouldn't have taken that application from me over the phone, I'd call somebody else. And I took that to heart. That was years ago. And I took that to heart. And, if I'm talking to someone and they're calling me with questions about a loan, then they need a loan and I need to close it right then. So I mentioned earlier that I would do an assumptive close where, I'm assuming that they want to do business with me. And when I want to find out what their needs are first. And then once I know what their needs are, then you just kind of reading the people as you go. You can tell people that want to do it online, but I always give them the choice, and I always end with what I think that they're going to do, what they want to do, give them the second choice as the one that you think that they want to do. So, I asked him, I said, would you, let's go ahead and do an application. Would you prefer to do that online, or would you like for me to just take your information over the phone? It'll only take me 5 or 6 minutes. So why don't you just take it over the phone? Well, then I got them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but if I send them to my website, I can lose them. because I need to
This is
make it
true.
easy for them. And plus, you get to ask your questions. You get to go 3 deep with your questions and learn a lot more about the application. And the longest application is probably only going to take 10 minutes. And if you can't take 10 minutes of your time to do that, then you've missed out.
That's good.
It's a darn good point, man. I think if we want to have better conversions, it starts at the beginning.
Yeah.
I really do think so.
The chat is lighting up right now. Sharon, is it your birthday?
It is my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Sharon.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Sharon.
Birthdays are good.
How's it feel to almost be 30?
Yeah, I was really nervous about, getting closer to 30, but
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna be all right.
Awesome stuff. Wow. Well, I'd say it was a good day. So what's the link again?
Oh, freedomplanningcall.com.
Okay.
Hey, and listen, there's a couple of thoughts. So closing thoughts, speed to the lead wins. Use a great script. Part of conversion is knowing, how you're leading them, knowing the purpose of the call and having a clear next step. And then I think one of the last things is this: if you're not tracking the data, how many outbound calls, how many conversations, how many asked for the business, how many leads came in, did those leads complete the loan application? If you're not tracking the data, it's hard to know if you're converting. And so we can help you with it. Go to freedomplanningcall.com. We can walk you through things that'll help you convert more of what you've already got. Hey, and thank you for everybody who contributed. Sharon, great numbers. Chauncey, what a great conversation around conversion. It's important. I think you need both
stuff.
and.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Great stuff today. All right. freedomplanningcall.com. Need help converting? Need help with anything? Go there. We'll help you
love to
out.
help you.
Yeah, we'll get you going in the right direction. That's for sure. Everybody having a good day so far? Today's Monday. We're going to make our realtor calls. Who's in? Who's in on realtor calls today? Come on, give me some thumbs up, man. All right, man. Good stuff. All right. Well, cool. Let's get on with it then. I say we get on out of here. What do you guys think?
Let's do it. You guys have a great day, man.
Adios, my friends. We'll see you here tomorrow at the Loan Officer Breakfast Club, brought to you by the Mortgage Marketing Animals. Get on it, man. More conversions. Get that app in the system. Get that credit pulled. Higher conversions. You can do it. We'll see you guys here tomorrow. Adios. Bye-bye.
See you.
Have a great day, everybody.